Did you know that Adolf Hitler was responsible for close to 17 million deaths of European civilians? Hello, I'm Braxton Dossie, and today I'm going to talk just a little on the infamous leader, Adolf Hitler. I'm going to be going over three main points in this discussion. 1. Who was Adolf Hitler? 2. How did he come to power? And 3. How was his corrupt power spread throughout Europe? As an American, I believe that knowing and keeping the history of our country and world is one of the most crucial things that you can do. As George Santana said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Main point 1. Who was Adolf Hitler? Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889. He died on April 30th, 1945, just 10 days after his 56th birthday. Hitler is most known for his attempt at mass genocide on the 20th century Jewish people of the world, also known as the Holocaust. This act could only be stopped by the entire world coming together, thus sparking the Second World War. In Hitler's childhood, his father was very conceited and very abusive. It is stated on www.biography.yourdictionary.com that Alois, Hitler's father, had a very short temper and would often take out his anger on his children. This might have been one of the defining factors in his personality and the infamous life he ended up living. Now that we know just a little bit about who Adolf Hitler was, now I'm going to go to my second point. Main point 2. How did he come to power? Adolf Hitler started as a painter after dropping out of secondary school and went to the Fine Arts School in Vienna. He was rejected from the school, and he started selling painting outside of his house. This is where he acquired his interest in politics. Hitler convinced people that he had more control than what he had, and in this he made promises they could not keep or back up. This deceitful act created the unstable base for which the Nazi Party was founded on. In 1920, Hitler left the army after receiving the rare Iron Cross First Class Medal for bravery in World War I, and took charge of the propaganda efforts of the newly named National Socialist Germany Workers' Party. Later we will know this party as the Nazis. After hearing how this wicked man came to power, let's transition into my last point. Main point 3. How did Hitler's corrupt power spread throughout Europe? The beer hall push is known as a turning point for the soon-to-be Nazis, from a locally known group to a nationally known group. After this mutiny, the newly founded group were known as heroes among the right-wing community. At the conclusion of the uproar, Hitler was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but only served 9 months of his term. He came out of the prison, author of Mein Kampf, a memoir that connected his party or group to his political beliefs, according to www.history.com. The idea of his political beliefs became popularly known with the powerful speeches about his anti-Semitic ideology and beliefs on how the world was overrun by people in the German community and that he and his political party members considered lower than animals. His power and corrupt ways spread through people who were looking for change and instead got a fascist dictator that caused guilt and shame for the generation of people of Germany then and now. Adolf Hitler had many traits that made him a very influential leader, but a monstrous human being that had no ethics or morals. In conclusion, let's review the points that I went over. 1. Who was Adolf Hitler? We know Adolf Hitler was born in the 1800s and died in the early 1900s. 2. How did he come to power? We know that he came to power off the propaganda schemes of the newly found National Socialist German Working Party. 3. How was his corrupt power spread throughout Europe? We know that ultimately his power was spread through people who were looking for a change, but instead got a fascist dictator that caused their lives to change dramatically. Adolf Hitler is and will always be known as an abomination of a human. But what people miss is that though he was nowhere close to being a good person, his ways of coming to power and overcoming struggles in his own life to get where he was is truly astonishing. Happy Thanksgiving.